Hello, dear members of the Soul Stories family. Today we will bring you a romantic love story, so let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any meaningful stories. Anna Cooper rushed out of the yellow taxi, her fitted office dress accentuating her slender figure, but unable to hide her haste. Her brown hair, tied high, swayed slightly in the April breeze of New York. The watch on her wrist read 8:45 a.m. Only 15 minutes until the client meeting began. In her hand was an iPad containing the detailed plan for the biggest event of the year for the event planning company she worked for, Prestige Events. The Imperial Crown Hotel, a symbol of luxury in the heart of Manhattan, loomed before her like a glittering glass palace. The 50-story building, with its marble facade and gold-plated revolving doors, exuded power. Anna took a deep breath, telling herself to stay calm. This was her chance to prove her competence, especially after her boss, Linda, entrusted her with organizing an international gala, bringing together CEOs and A-list celebrities. She stepped into the main lobby, her high heels clicking rhythmically on the granite floor. The air inside carried the scent of lilies and sandalwood, mingling with the gentle sound of piano music from a hidden corner. The receptionist, a young woman in a navy uniform, smiled professionally. "Hello, do you have an appointment?" the receptionist asked, her fingers gliding over a touchscreen. "Yes, I'm Anna Cooper from Prestige Events. I'm here to prepare for tomorrow's gala. The meeting room is on the 45th floor, correct?" Anna replied, her voice slightly rushed as she glanced at her watch. The receptionist nodded, checking the information. "That's right, the Sapphire Room, but... Oh, I'm sorry, it seems the system just updated. The meeting room has been moved to the presidential suite, also on the 45th floor. Take the elevator on the right. I'll give you a key card." Anna frowned, sensing something was off, but she had no time to question it. She took the key card from the receptionist, thanked her quickly, and hurried to the elevator. Inside, the warm golden light from a crystal chandelier briefly eased her tension. She pressed the button for the 45th floor, reminding herself to review the entire plan before the clients arrived. The elevator chimed softly and the doors slid open. The 45th floor hallway was spacious, lined with deep red carpet and abstract paintings on the walls. Anna swiped her key card on the door labeled Presidential Suite and pushed it open, assuming the meeting room must be within this area. But what she saw was not a conference table or chairs. The vast room resembled a luxury apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Manhattan skyline. A black leather armchair sat beside a walnut desk, and there a man was seated, his posture rigid, his deep voice resonating through the computer speakers. "I need the financial report by Friday, no exceptions." Anna froze. That voice was too familiar, like a knife reopening a wound she tried to bury. She slowly looked up, and her heart seemed to stop as her eyes met the man's. Nathan Carter, her ex-husband. He sat there in a perfectly tailored navy suit, his black hair neatly combed, his icy blue eyes sharp as ever. But when he looked up and saw Anna, those eyes flared briefly with a complex emotion she couldn't decipher. Nathan cut off the person on the screen, his voice calm but sharp. "I'll call you back." He shut off the computer and stood, tall and imposing. Anna instinctively stepped back, clutching her iPad as if it were her only shield. 3 years. 3 years since she signed the divorce papers and walked out of his life, never looking back. Yet now he stood just a few feet away, as if time had never passed. "Anna," Nathan said, his voice low but laced with a hint of danger. "You're in the wrong room, but it seems fate doesn't want you to leave so easily." Anna swallowed hard, trying to regain her composure. "I'm sorry, there must be a mistake. I'm here for a meeting, not to see you." She turned to open the door and leave, but Nathan's voice rang out, cold and commanding. "Stop!" She froze, not out of fear, but because his tone still had the power to make her pause. Anna turned back, meeting his gaze. "Nathan, I don't have time for this. I have work to do." Nathan stepped forward slowly like a predator. "Work? In my hotel? Interesting." He tilted his head, his eyes scanning her from her hair to her high heels, as if assessing her. "You look the same, but it seems single life suits you." His words hit like an arrow. Anna clenched her fists, suppressing her anger. "Thanks for the unnecessary comment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find the right meeting room. But Nathan didn't move. He crossed his arms, leaning against the desk, his gaze locking onto her. You still haven't explained why you're here, in my private room. It was a mistake, Anna nearly shouted, but she quickly lowered her voice, refusing to lose control. The receptionist said the meeting room was here. Clearly, it's your staff's error. Nathan raised an eyebrow as if weighing her words. Then unexpectedly, he smirked, the half-smile she'd once loved, once hated. My staff's error, or fate wanting us to meet again? Anna felt her face flush with anger. Don't be arrogant, Nathan. Not everything revolves around you. He chuckled softly, the low sound sending a shiver through her. Still as sharp as ever, Anna. But you know, I don't believe in coincidences. She opened her mouth to retort, but Nathan continued, his tone more serious. You're organizing an event for prestige events, right? The International Gala, a multi-million-dollar contract. I saw your company's name on the partner list. Anna was stunned. How do you know? Because this is my hotel, Nathan replied, as if it were obvious. And because I approve every major contract. She felt the floor tilt beneath her. Nathan wasn't just here by chance. He owned this place, the man who controlled her event, and possibly her career's future. Then all the better, Anna said, forcing her voice to stay steady. I'll work professionally, and we won't need to see each other again. Nathan stepped closer, now just a foot away. She could smell his cologne, sandalwood and mint, the scent she'd once adored. Professional? With me? He tilted his head, his voice lowering. Do you think you can pretend we were never anything to each other? Anna's heart raced. Memories flooded back. Nights they held each other under the moonlight, arguments over his prioritizing work over her, and the moment she threw her wedding ring on the table, saying she couldn't live with someone who didn't need her. We're done, Nathan, she said, her voice trembling but firm. 3 years ago. There's nothing left to say. He stared at her, his eyes darkening, as if wrestling with himself. Then he spoke, his voice cold as ice. You want to leave? Fine. But this event is happening here, and you'll work under my supervision. If not, I'll cancel the contract with your company. You know I don't bluff. Anna went still. He was the same, arrogant, controlling, and unwilling to lose. But she wasn't the Anna from 3 years ago, the one who cried over him. She lifted her chin, meeting his gaze. Fine, Nathan. I'll do the job, but don't think you can control me. She turned, opened the door, and walked out without looking back. But as the door closed, her heart pounded, and deep down she knew this encounter was only the beginning of a bigger storm. Anna stepped out of the elevator, trying to shake off the suffocating feeling from her unexpected encounter with Nathan Carter yesterday morning. The soft lighting of the Imperial Crown Hotel did nothing to ease her tension. Today was her first official day working here to prepare for the International Gala, and she had told herself, focus on work, stay away from Nathan, and everything will be fine. She adjusted her navy blazer, checking the task list on her iPad. The list was endless. Inspect the venue, meet the florist, confirm the menu with the chef, and ensure the sound system worked perfectly. Anna knew this was a big opportunity, but Nathan's shadow made her uneasy. He had made it clear. She would work under his supervision. What did that mean? Would he be everywhere, or was he just threatening her to throw her off balance? She entered the Sapphire Ballroom where the gala would take place. The vast space had soaring ceilings, sparkling crystal chandeliers, and soft white silk curtains. A team of staff was arranging tables and chairs, and Anna immediately got to work, directing them to adjust the lighting and check the stage. The task helped her momentarily forget Nathan, but within minutes her phone buzzed. A message from her boss, Linda. Anna, I just got an email from the hotel. Their CEO, Nathan Carter, wants to meet in person to review the plan. 2 p.m. today, 45th floor office. Don't let anything go wrong. Anna felt the blood drain from her face. Meet Nathan? Again? She gripped her phone, telling herself to stay calm. All right, she muttered. It's just work. I'll face him like any other client. At noon, Anna decided to head to the lobby cafe for a latte and to tweak her presentation slides. The cafe was packed, the rich aroma of roasted coffee mingling with the hum of conversation. She stood in line, eyes glued to her iPad, oblivious to her surroundings. When it was her turn, she ordered a hot latte and turned to head back to the ballroom. Then everything happened too fast. She collided with a wall, or rather a tall man. The latte in her hand tilted, hot brown liquid splashing across the pristine white shirt of the person in front of her. Anna looked up, ready to apologize, but the words caught in her throat when she saw the face before her. Nathan Carter. He stood there, one hand holding his phone, the other checking the spreading coffee stain on his shirt. His deep blue eyes met hers, not with anger, but with a mix of surprise and amusement. "Well, Anna," Nathan said, his voice low and drawn out, "if you wanted my attention, there might be a gentler way." Anna's face flushed. She hurriedly set the empty cup on the counter, fumbling for tissues from her bag. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't see you." Nathan raised an eyebrow, still not breaking eye contact. "Didn't see me? In this suit? I thought you were always good at noticing things." Anna bit her lip, offering him the tissues, but Nathan didn't take them. Instead, he crossed his arms, letting the coffee stain be. "Fine," he said, the corner of his mouth twitching upward. "Let's say you owe me a shirt or a new coffee." She glared at him. "You don't have to make a big deal out of it. I'll pay for the shirt, all right?" Nathan chuckled, the warm, low sound drawing glances from nearby patrons. "Pay for the shirt? Anna, do you think I'm short on shirts?" He leaned closer, his voice dropping. "But I'll accept a sincere apology. Maybe at our meeting this afternoon?" Anna took a deep breath, trying to stay composed. "I'll apologize for the coffee, but don't expect me to apologize for anything else." He smiled, his eyes glinting as if he were enjoying this game. "We'll see, Anna." Then he walked away, leaving her standing there, heart pounding with anger and a feeling she didn't want to admit. That afternoon, Anna arrived at the 45th floor office, mentally preparing for the meeting with Nathan. She had revised her presentation slides 3 times, ensuring every detail was perfect. But when she entered the meeting room, she faced yet another awkward situation. Nathan wasn't alone. He was standing with a group of technicians, testing the gala sound system. And just as Anna walked in, a clumsy staff member dropped a microphone, creating a piercing screech. Startled, she bumped into a table, knocking over a cup of black coffee someone had left there. The coffee, of course, was Nathan's. He turned, his eyes locking on to her. "Anna," he said, his voice dripping with theatrics, "you really have a knack for ruining my things today." She wanted to disappear. Why are you always there at the wrong time?" she blurted, immediately regretting it when Nathan's smile widened. "Why?" he replied, stepping closer. "Maybe because you keep trying to avoid me, but fate disagrees." Anna shot him a look, but she couldn't deny he was deliberately teasing her. She turned to the technicians, forcing a professional tone. "Can we start the venue check? I need to ensure everything's ready for the gala." Nathan nodded, but he didn't leave. Instead, he followed her around the ballroom, commenting on the lighting, table arrangements, and even how she directed the staff. Every time she turned, he was there, his gaze tracking her as if waiting for her to slip up. At the end of the inspection, as they stood by the stage, Nathan suddenly ordered a black coffee from a staff member. He took the cup, sipped it, and looked at her. "Still black, no sugar," he said softly. "You used to say it was as boring as my personality, didn't you?" Anna froze. She hadn't expected him to remember that offhand remark from their days together when she'd tease him during lazy mornings. Memories flooded back. Brewing coffee for him, the smiles he gave her when she playfully complained about his dull taste. She forced her voice to stay steady. "I don't remember saying that." Nathan tilted his head, his gaze piercing. "So what else do you remember about me?" The question hit her like an arrow. Anna's heart raced, memories of happy and painful times resurfacing. She wanted to answer, to say she remembered everything, from his laugh, the way he held her hand, to how he broke her heart. But she shook her head, her voice cold. "Nothing worth remembering." Nathan looked at her, a flicker of sadness in his eyes, but he quickly masked it with a smile. Is that so? We'll see how long you can keep that up. He walked away, leaving Anna standing there, her heart in turmoil. She knew she needed to stay away from him, but today's absurd incidents, from the coffee spill to his teasing glances, made her realize a frightening truth. Nathan Carter still had a hold over her, and she wasn't sure she could keep running forever. Are you still following the story? If you were Anna, would you give Nathan a second chance? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with meaningful stories. Anna stood before the mirror in the staff break room at the Imperial Crown Hotel, adjusting her hair and checking her appearance before the crucial meeting. Her white silk blouse and black trousers gave her a professional look, but her eyes betrayed exhaustion. 2 days of working at the hotel had turned into a series of challenges, not just because of the immense workload, but also because of Nathan Carter. He seemed to be everywhere, with his teasing remarks and gazes that made it impossible for her to focus. She sighed, unconsciously touching the delicate silver necklace around her neck. A small sapphire stone gleamed at its center, simple yet elegant. Anna rarely took it off, telling herself it was just habit. But deep down, she knew the truth. The necklace was Nathan's wedding gift, a keepsake from the day they vowed to be together forever. She shook her ARI, scolding herself for letting the past creep into her mind. Focus, Anna, she muttered, then grabbed her iPad and left the room, heading to the meeting room on the 45th floor. Today, she had to present the detailed plan for the international gala to Nathan and several key hotel partners. This was her chance to prove her competence, and she couldn't let Nathan unsettle her. The Sapphire meeting room was a modern space with a long wooden table, leather chairs, and glass windows overlooking the Manhattan skyline. When Anna entered, she saw Nathan already there, standing at the head of the table, discussing something with a middle-aged man in a gray suit. He wore a deep blue dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, revealing toned forearms. Anna tried not to notice, but his eyes immediately caught hers, and the corner of his mouth curved as if he knew she was avoiding looking at him. "Good morning, Ms. Cooper," Nathan said, his voice deep and professional, but his eyes held a hint of mischief. "I hope you didn't bring any coffee today." Anna shot him a look but kept her tone steady. "I've learned to avoid spilling things on you, Mr. Carter." A few people in the room chuckled, and Nathan raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by her response. Anna quickly shifted her focus to the partners, introducing herself and beginning her presentation. She displayed slides on the large screen, confidently explaining the gala's theme, stage setup, and arrangements for VIP guests. Throughout the presentation, she felt Nathan's gaze. He sat at the end of the table, arms crossed, listening without interrupting. It both relieved and unnerved her. When she finished and opened the floor for questions, Nathan spoke first. "Your plan is impressive, Ms. Cooper," he said, his voice calm. "But I have a question about the decor. What flowers are you using for the main banquet table?" Anna was slightly taken aback. It was a trivial detail, hardly something a CEO like him would care about. But she answered promptly, "We're using white lilies and purple orchids, paired with warm golden lighting to create an elegant yet approachable atmosphere." Nathan nodded, but his gaze suddenly lingered on her neck. Anna's heart raced as she realized he was looking at the necklace. He tilted his head, his voice lowering, almost just for her. "That necklace? You're still wearing it." The room seemed to fall silent, though Anna knew it was only her perception. She swallowed hard, trying to maintain a neutral expression. "It's just a habit," she replied, her voice slightly rushed. "I don't think it's important." Nathan stared at her, his eyes piercing, as if trying to read her thoughts. "A habit," he repeated, his tone tinged with doubt. "Interesting." Another partner quickly asked a question, breaking the tense moment, and Anna was grateful for it. She answered the remaining questions smoothly, but for the rest of the meeting, she felt Nathan's gaze never left her. When the meeting ended, she gathered her materials, hoping to leave before he could say anything more. But Nathan was faster. As the partners exited, he approached, blocking her path. "Anna," he said, his voice low, "why are you still wearing that necklace?" She paused, gripping her iPad tightly. "I told you, it's just a habit. You don't need to make a big deal out of it." "A habit?" Nathan stepped closer, his voice soft but pressing. Do you know what that necklace meant to me? To us? Anna's throat went dry. She remembered the day he gave her the necklace, right after their wedding, in their small Brooklyn apartment. He'd said the sapphire symbolized his eternal love, and she'd laughed, teasing him for his rare sentimentality. But now that memory only brought pain. It's just jewelry, Nathan, she said, forcing her voice to stay cold. Don't assign it meaning it no longer has. He looked at her, a flicker of pain in his eyes, but he quickly masked it. If you say so, he replied, then turned and walked away, leaving her standing there, her heart in turmoil. That evening in his private office on the hotel's top floor, Nathan sat in a leather chair, gazing at the city's twinkling lights. On the desk before him was a computer screen displaying an email from his assistant, James. Information on Anna Cooper is requested, 28 years old, currently a project lead at Prestige Events. After the divorce, she moved to an apartment in Queens, living alone. No information on dating or relationships in the past 3 years. She's fully focused on her career, highly regarded in the event planning industry. Nathan read the email repeatedly, a mix of hope and guilt stirring within him. He'd asked James to look into Anna's life after their first encounter, not out of suspicion, but because he needed to know how she'd been since leaving him. The fact that she hadn't dated anyone shocked him. Anna was beautiful, intelligent, and strong. He'd assumed she'd easily find new happiness, but she hadn't. Why? He stood, walking to the window, hands in his pockets. The image of the necklace glimmering on her neck lingered in his mind. She called it a habit, but Nathan didn't believe it. He knew Anna. She wouldn't keep something unless it held meaning. That necklace was proof that despite her denials, she hadn't fully let go of him. But that hope came with pain. He recalled the final days of their marriage, when he was consumed by work, ignoring Anna's attempts to pull him back. She'd begged him to make time for her, but he always promised to make it up later. When she left, leaving her wedding ring on the table, he realized he'd lost the most precious thing in his life. Nathan clenched his fists, resolved. He couldn't change the past, but Anna was here now, in his hotel, and he wouldn't let her slip away again. But he knew winning her back would take more than words. He had to prove he'd change. Meanwhile, in her small apartment, Anna sat on the sofa, the dim golden light casting shadows on the necklace in her hand. She'd taken it off, intending to put it away, but couldn't. Memories of Nathan, his smile, his voice, and the pain he caused clung to her. She told herself to be strong, to forget him. But as she looked at the necklace, a question nagged at her. Have I truly let him go? The storm hit New York unexpectedly on the afternoon of Anna's third day at the Imperial Crown Hotel. The sky turned gray, lightning streaked across the horizon, and thunder roared as if to swallow the city. Anna stood in the Sapphire Ballroom, making final checks for the international gala set for tomorrow. Rain pounded the glass windows, leaving long streaks of water, and an inexplicable unease settled over her. She had just finished a call with the lighting supplier, confirming everything was ready, when the ballroom's lights flickered. A sharp crack sounded from the electrical system, and the room plunged into darkness. Murmurs from the staff rose, mingling with the howling wind and rain outside. Anna switched on her phone's flashlight, calming everyone. Stay calm. It's probably just a temporary outage. I'll check with management. She stepped into the hallway where faint emergency lights on the walls cast dim glows. Her phone buzzed, a message from her boss, Linda, asking about progress. Anna sighed, typing a reply as she headed toward the elevator. She needed to get to the 45th floor to retrieve the backup plan from her temporary office. The elevator chimed softly as its doors opened. Anna stepped in, unaware that someone else was already inside. The doors closed and the elevator began to move. But seconds later, a harsh screech sounded. The elevator jolted violently and then stopped completely. The lights went out, leaving thick darkness. Anna inhaled sharply, her heart pounding. She raised her phone, the screen's light illuminating the cramped space, and then she froze. Nathan Carter stood in the corner, one hand braced against the wall, his deep blue eyes glinting in the faint glow. He wore a black dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, and even in this situation, he exuded an infuriating calm. Anna, he said, his voice low, tinged with humor. It seems fate really likes trapping us together. She glared at him, trying to hide her panic. This isn't the time for jokes, Nathan. We're stuck. She pressed the emergency button on the control panel, but there was no response. She tried calling, but the signal inside the elevator was too weak to connect. Relax, Nathan said, stepping closer. The backup system will kick in soon. My hotel doesn't leave guests trapped for long. Your hotel, Anna muttered, her voice bitter. Of course, everything revolves around you, doesn't it? Nathan raised an eyebrow but didn't respond immediately. He slid down to the floor, leaning against the wall, and gestured for her to do the same. Sit, Anna. Standing won't help. She hesitated, but her aching legs in the confined space left her little choice. She sat, keeping distance between them, hugging her knees. Silence enveloped them, broken only by the raging storm outside and their breathing. Anna tried to focus on work, mentally reciting her to-do list to stay calm. But Nathan's presence made it impossible to relax. She sensed his gaze, even without looking up. Finally, unable to bear the silence, she spoke. Don't you have anything better to do? Why do you keep showing up when I least want to see you? Nathan chuckled softly, the low sound sending a shiver through her. You think I plan to get stuck in an elevator with you? Though I'll admit, it's not a bad idea. She glared at him, but before she could retort, he continued, his tone more serious. I was on my way to check the electrical system when I ran into you. But maybe I should thank this storm. Anna frowned. Thank it? For trapping us here? For giving me a chance to talk to you, Nathan replied, his eyes locking onto hers. You've been avoiding me for days, Anna. I'm not stupid. I know you don't want to face me. She clenched her fists, feeling cornered. I'm not avoiding you. I'm just doing my job. We have nothing to talk about, Nathan. Really? He leaned toward her, his voice lowering. Then why are you still wearing the necklace I gave you? Why do you look at me like you want to run and stay at the same time? His words cut like a knife. Anna's throat went dry, but she refused to let him win. Don't be arrogant, she said, her voice cold. The necklace is just jewelry, and you're just a part of the past I left behind. Nathan stared at her, his eyes darkening. The past, he repeated, his voice tinged with pain. If that's true, why didn't you let me find you after the divorce? Anna was stunned. Find me? What are you talking about? Nathan took a deep breath, as if wrestling with himself. After you left, I tried to find you. I went to our apartment, but you'd moved out. I called, but your number was disconnected. You cut off all contact, Anna. You didn't give me a chance to fix things. She felt heat rush to her face. Fix things? She stood, though the cramped space forced her to lean against the wall. Why would you look for me, Nathan? To apologize? Or to keep hurting me? You chose work over me. You left me alone in that apartment, night after night, waiting for you to come home. I begged you, but you never listened. Her voice trembled, tears threatening to spill, but she held them back. Nathan stood too, facing her, his eyes blazing with emotion. I know I was wrong, he said, his voice strong but pained. I know I hurt you, but you think I didn't suffer? When you left, you took my whole world with you, Anna. His words left her speechless. She had never seen Nathan like this. Vulnerable, almost desperate. For 3 years, she'd thought he'd moved on easily, that she was just a brief chapter in his life. But his eyes now told a different story. Your world, she whispered, her voice bitter. If I was so important, why didn't you fight to keep me? Nathan stepped closer, so near she could feel his breath. Because I was a fool, he said, his voice hoarse. Because I thought I had time to fix everything. But I was wrong, and I paid for it by losing you. Anna turned away, not wanting him to see the tears streaming down her cheeks. She wanted to scream, to tell him she'd hurt too, that she still hurt. But before she could speak, a buzz sounded, and the elevator's lights flickered back on. The cabin jolted slightly, then resumed moving. The doors opened on the 45th floor, hallway light flooding in. Anna quickly wiped her tears, intending to step out, but Nathan grabbed her hand. His palm was warm, firm, stopping her in her tracks. Anna, he said, his voice resolute, this time I won't let you go. She looked at him, her heart torn between pain and a feeling she didn't dare acknowledge. Then she pulled her hand free and stepped out of the elevator, not looking back. But as the doors closed, she knew that moment had changed everything. Nathan wasn't just her past. He was trying to become her present, and she wasn't sure she was strong enough to resist him. Anna sat in her temporary office on the 45th floor of the Imperial Crown Hotel, the light from the glass window illuminating her desk piled with documents. The international gala last night had been a resounding success, earning praise from guests and a thank you email from her boss, Linda. But Anna had no time to celebrate. Before her was a new email from Nathan Carter, sent at midnight, titled, Proposal for Collaboration. She clicked on the email, her heart beating faster as she read, Ms. Cooper, last night's gala demonstrated your and Prestige Events' exceptional capabilities. I'd like to invite you to co-organize a series of international events to promote the Imperial Crown brand globally. This is a month-long project starting next week, with events in New York, London, and Dubai. If successful, Prestige Events will secure a long-term contract with my corporation. Condition: you must work directly with me to ensure every detail aligns with Imperial Crown's vision. I look forward to meeting you at 10 a.m. today in my office to discuss. Nathan Carter. Anna reread the email 3 times, a mix of excitement and anxiety swirling within her. A long-term contract with Nathan's corporation was the biggest career opportunity she'd ever encountered. It could elevate Prestige Events to new heights and solidify her reputation in the event planning industry. But working directly with Nathan, after days of tension, awkward moments, and especially their confrontation in the elevator, she wasn't sure she could handle facing him daily. She glanced at the clock. 9:45 a.m. No time to hesitate. Anna stood, adjusted her gray office dress, took a deep breath, and left the office, heading toward Nathan's office at the end of the hallway. Nathan's office was at the corner of the 45th floor, with frosted glass doors and a plaque reading, CEO. Anna knocked, and his deep voice called out, "Come in." She stepped inside, immediately struck by the luxurious space, a walnut desk, black leather chairs, and a large abstract painting on the wall. Nathan sat behind the desk, dressed in a navy suit, reviewing documents. He looked up as she entered, his deep blue eyes scanning her, a slight smile tugging at his lips. "Good morning, Ms. Cooper," he said, his tone professional but laced with a hint of teasing. "I thought you might skip this meeting." Anna sat across from him, striving to maintain composure. "I don't turn down career opportunities, Mr. Carter, but I'd like to hear the project details before agreeing." Nathan nodded, sliding a thick folder toward her. "The series will span 4 weeks with 3 major events, a brand launch in New York, an investor conference in London, and a charity gala in Dubai. Each will host high-profile guests, from CEOs to royalty. I need someone like you, with impeccable organization and attention to detail." Anna flipped through the folder, impressed by the project's scale, but she remained cautious. "Why me? You have an entire staff. Surely they can handle this." Nathan leaned forward, his gaze locking onto hers. "Because I trust your abilities, and because—" he paused as if choosing his words carefully. "Because I want us to work together." Her heart raced. "Together? You mean I'd report to you, right?" "No," Nathan replied, his voice firm. "I'll be hands-on, selecting venues, approving menus, meeting partners. We'll be a team." Anna tightened her grip under the table. Working with Nathan wasn't just a professional challenge, it was a personal one, but she couldn't refuse. The opportunity was too significant, and she didn't want to let Linda or the company down. "Fine," she said, her voice resolute. "I'm in, but I expect us to keep things professional." Nathan smiled, his eyes glinting. "Professional, I promise, Anna." But his tone made her doubt he meant it entirely. The following days were a whirlwind of work. Anna and Nathan began preparing for the first event in New York, a brand launch for over 300 guests. They met daily, reviewing plans, debating everything from tablecloth colors to the playlist. Despite the stress, Anna couldn't ignore Nathan's change. He was still a demanding CEO, but he listened to her ideas, even agreeing to some of her suggestions. Once, when she proposed using blue lighting for a modern vibe, he nodded immediately and said, "Good idea. You've always been great at making things stand out. But what surprised her most was his subtle care. One afternoon when she was too busy to eat, a staff member brought her a salmon salad, her favorite, from a nearby restaurant. She assumed it was from Linda, but the staff revealed, "Mr. Carter requested it for you." Anna stared at the salad, torn between confusion and annoyance. "What does he think he's doing?" she muttered, but ate it as she was starving. Another time, during a meeting with a difficult partner who kept criticizing Anna's plans, Nathan intervened. When the partner called her stage setup lacking sophistication, Nathan coolly replied, "Ms. Cooper is a top expert in the industry. If you can't see the value in her plans, perhaps you're not aligned with our vision." The partner fell silent, and Anna felt a warmth in her chest. Nathan hadn't just defended her, he'd done it discreetly, without making her feel weak. After the meeting, when they were alone, Anna couldn't hold back. "Thank you," she said softly, "for taking my side." Nathan looked at her, his eyes softer than usual. "I'll always take your side, Anna, whether you want me to or not." She turned away, pretending to check documents to hide her flushed cheeks. But deep down, she couldn't deny that Nathan was no longer the neglectful husband from 3 years ago. He was attentive, dedicated, and seemed determined to make amends. The night before the New York brand launch, Anna and Nathan stayed late at the hotel, finalizing details. The ballroom was perfectly decorated, with shimmering blue lighting and white orchid arrangements. When the last staff member left, they stood alone in the vast space. "You did an amazing job, Anna," Nathan said, his voice sincere. "This event will be a success, and it's because of you." She smiled for the first time, not feeling the need to guard herself against him. "We did it together. You contributed a lot, too." Nathan stepped closer, just a few feet away. "We make a great team, don't we?" She met his gaze, her heart beating faster. In that moment, she saw the Nathan from before, the man she'd once loved deeply. But then she remembered the pain, and she looked away. "Yes," she said softly, "but just a work team." Nathan didn't reply, but his eyes said he wasn't ready to accept that boundary. As she left the ballroom, Anna felt a terrifying truth. She was losing her ability to resist him, and it both scared and thrilled her. The Sapphire Ballroom at the Imperial Crown Hotel sparkled during the brand launch gala. Shimmering blue lighting reflected off crystal chandeliers, blending with white orchid arrangements on the tables. Hundreds of guests, business tycoons, celebrities, and politicians mingled in glamorous attire, their laughter and clinking wine glasses creating a symphony of opulence. Anna stood in a corner, overseeing every detail through her earpiece, ensuring perfection. She wore a silver evening gown, form-fitting with a subtle thigh slit, exuding elegance and allure. Her brown hair cascaded in soft waves, and the sapphire necklace, Nathan's gift she couldn't bring herself to remove, glinted around her neck. Despite her focus, she couldn't ignore Nathan's gaze from across the room. He stood amid the crowd, in a perfectly tailored black tuxedo, chatting with partners, yet his eyes always found her. Anna tried to ignore it, concentrating on her tasks. She signaled the band to switch to a gentle jazz piece, checked with the waitstaff about the main course timing, and ensured VIPs were well attended. But as she turned, a warm, deep voice sounded behind her. "Anna, are you going to work all night, or will you let yourself enjoy a little?" She spun around, facing Nathan. He stood tall and commanding, his deep blue eyes sparkling under the lights. She offered a polite smile, maintaining distance. "I'm working, Mr. Carter. This is your event, and I need to ensure it's flawless." Nathan tilted his head, a smile tugging at his lips. "It's already flawless. You've exceeded all expectations." He extended his hand, his voice soft but compelling. "Dance with me, Anna. Just one dance." She froze, her heart racing. "Dance? In front of everyone? No, I don't think—" "Don't say no," Nathan interrupted, his tone gentle but firm. "You deserve to enjoy this moment, and I want to share it with you." Anna hesitated, her gaze sweeping the ballroom. Some guests had started dancing, and their curious glances heightened her tension. But Nathan's hand remained extended, patient and inviting. Finally, she sighed and placed her hand in his. "One dance," she said, her voice a warning. Nathan smiled, leading her to the center of the dance floor. The band shifted to a slow waltz, and the lights dimmed, creating an intimate atmosphere. Nathan placed a hand on her waist, light but firm, and drew her into the dance. Their bodies moved in sync, as if the 3 years apart had never existed. Anna felt the warmth of his hand, the familiar sandalwood scent of his cologne, and her own heartbeat quickening. She tried to focus on her steps, but Nathan's gaze held her captive. "You're more beautiful than ever, Anna," he said, his voice low, almost a whisper. "I've never forgotten this feeling." His words stirred her. In that moment, under the twinkling lights, they seemed to return to the early days of their love, nights dancing in their small apartment, laughing and dreaming of the future. But then she recalled the pain, and she looked down, hiding her emotions. "Don't say things like that, Nathan," she replied softly. "We can't go back." Nathan tightened his grip on her hand, pulling her closer. "Maybe not, but I'm not giving up on a future, Anna." The dance ended, but Nathan didn't let go immediately. He looked at her, his eyes profound, and she felt her heart might break. She withdrew her hand, forcing a strained smile. "Thank you for the dance. I need to get back to work." She left the dance floor, her heart pounding. That moment was too real, too powerful, and she feared that staying longer would crumble the walls guarding her heart. The morning after, Anna entered her temporary office, her mind still reeling from the dance with Nathan the previous night. She had tried to keep her distance, but every moment with him shook her resolve. Today, she was determined to focus on work, preparing for the next event in London. But Linda called early, asking her to retrieve an urgent document from Nathan's office for a partner. Anna reluctantly agreed, though the thought of facing Nathan made her tense. She knocked on his office door, but there was no answer. She tried the handle. It was unlocked. Inside, the office was empty. Nathan was likely in a meeting elsewhere. Anna approached his desk, searching for the green folder Linda had described. She opened a drawer, sifting through files, but accidentally knocked a small wooden box to the floor. It sprang open, spilling its contents. Anna bent to pick them up, and her heart stopped. The box held familiar keepsakes, a pair of movie tickets from their first date, a small wedding photo, her and Nathan beaming on their wedding day, and a crumpled, unopened envelope. Her hands trembled as she picked up the letter. Her name was written on it in Nathan's handwriting. She knew she shouldn't open it, but curiosity and overwhelming emotions drove her to tear it open. The words unfolded, "Anna, I don't know where to begin. Maybe I don't have the right to write this, not after everything I've done. I left you alone, put work above you, and when you walked away, I realized how foolish I'd been. I regretted it the moment you signed the divorce papers, but I wasn't brave enough to face you. I was afraid you'd never forgive me. I still love you, Anna. I always have. If there's even the smallest chance, I'd spend my life making things right." Nathan. Tears streamed down Anna's cheeks. She folded the letter, feeling her heart constrict. He had written this 3 years ago, but never sent it. Why? Why had he kept it, along with these mementos, like a painful secret? The door opened, startling her. Nathan stepped in, his eyes immediately landing on the box on the floor and the letter in her hand. "Anna," he said, his voice hoarse. You read it." She stood, wiping her tears hastily. "Why didn't you send it, Nathan? Why didn't you say anything to me?" Nathan approached, his eyes filled with pain. "Because I was afraid," he admitted, his voice low. "I was afraid you'd never forgive me. I was afraid to see you and know I'd lost you forever." Anna shook her head, her voice trembling. "You don't understand, Nathan. I waited for you. I hoped you'd come, that you'd say something, but you did nothing." "I know," Nathan said, stepping closer. "I was a coward, but when you showed up here, in my hotel, I knew it was my last chance. I can't let you go again, Anna." She looked at him, seeing for the first time a vulnerable Nathan, no longer the powerful CEO or the neglectful husband. He stood there, raw with his emotions, and she couldn't deny the feeling stirring within her. "I don't know if I can trust you again," she whispered. Nathan gently touched her arm, his gaze unwavering. "I'll prove it, Anna, in every way." She pulled her hand back but didn't leave. In that moment, she knew the wall between them was crumbling, and she wasn't sure she wanted to rebuild it. Anna sat on the private jet of the Imperial Crown Corporation, gazing out the window at the fluffy white clouds below. The short business trip to London to prepare for the investor conference was part of the event series she and Nathan were co-organizing. Beside her, Nathan flipped through a stack of documents, but his eyes occasionally drifted to her as if he wanted to say something. After weeks of working together, Anna couldn't deny that Nathan had changed. His subtle care, meals he ordered for her, defending her against difficult partners, had chipped away at the wall she'd built. But the dance at the gala and the unsent letter she found in his office left her torn. She still loved him, but the fear of being hurt again haunted her like a shadow. The plane landed in London in the afternoon, and they immediately dove into work. The conference would take place at another Imperial Crown hotel with a temporary outdoor stage set up for a unique atmosphere. Anna inspected the venue, directing staff to install the sound and lighting systems, while Nathan met with investors. By the end of the day, as the sunset bathed the London sky in gold, Anna stood on the stage for a final check. The stage, set on a grassy lawn, had wooden steps leading up. She walked carefully, but a loose plank suddenly gave way, throwing her off balance. Anna screamed, her arms flailing for support, but she stumbled toward the edge of the stage. In an instant, strong hands pulled her back. Anna fell into Nathan's arms, her breathing ragged, heart pounding. He held her tightly, one arm around her waist, the other on her shoulder. "Anna, are you okay?" he asked, his voice hoarse with worry. She looked up, her eyes meeting his deep blue ones, filled with concern and something deeper. I'm fine," she whispered, but her body still trembled. In that moment, saved by him, the safety of his embrace overwhelmed her emotions. "Don't scare me like that again," Nathan said, his voice low, not letting her go. He gazed at her, his eyes tracing every feature of her face, as if memorizing it. Anna felt tears well up, not from the near accident, but from the emotions she'd tried to bury. She broke down, her voice trembling. "Nathan, I still love you. I never stopped loving you. But I'm scared. I'm scared you'll hurt me again." Her confession stunned them both. Nathan tightened his hold, his eyes blazing. "Anna," he said, his voice resolute, "I'll spend my life proving you didn't make the wrong choice. I won't promise you the world, but I promise to give you everything I have." She looked at him, her heart torn between trust and fear. In that moment, under the London sunset, she wanted to believe him, but she only nodded, wiped her tears, and pulled away from his arms. "We need to get back to work," she said, her voice frail. Nathan didn't push her, but his eyes said he wouldn't give up. Back in New York after the London trip, Anna felt everything shifting. Her confession to Nathan had opened a door she wasn't sure she wanted to step through. They continued working together, preparing for the charity gala in Dubai, but the air between them was now charged with unspoken emotions. One afternoon, while Anna reviewed the guest list in her office, a woman entered the Sapphire Ballroom, drawing every eye. She was tall, with glossy blonde hair, wearing a fitted red dress, her confident smile like a silver screen star. Anna recognized her immediately, Victoria Lang, the famous actress featured in countless magazines. Victoria strode straight to Nathan, who was meeting with staff near the stage. She embraced him warmly, resting a hand on his shoulder, kissing his cheek and beaming. "Nathan, it's been too long. I've missed you," she said, her sweet voice loud enough for all to hear. Anna's heart clenched. She tried to focus on her work, but her eyes were glued to the scene. Nathan smiled politely, not pushing Victoria away. They chatted for a few minutes, Victoria repeatedly touching his arm, laughing as if they were close. That evening, Anna overheard two staff members whispering in the break room. "Did you hear? Victoria Lang and Mr. Carter are getting engaged. They've been secretly dating for ages." The words hit like a knife. Anna tried to convince herself it was just a rumor, but the image of Victoria's familiarity with Nathan haunted her. The fear of betrayal, of being abandoned, the old wounds from their marriage surged back. She decided to confront Nathan. She found him in his office, reviewing contracts. "Nathan," she said, her voice trembling, "what is Victoria Lang to you?" Nathan looked up, frowning. "Victoria? She's just an acquaintance. Why do you ask?" "An acquaintance?" Anna let out a bitter laugh. She hugged you in front of everyone, and now the whole hotel is buzzing that you're engaged to her. What am I supposed to believe?" Nathan stood, his eyes darkening. "Anna, listen to me. There's no engagement. Victoria is just—" But Anna cut him off. Tears streamed down her face. "I trusted you, Nathan. I thought you changed. But maybe I was wrong." She turned and ran from the office. Rain began to fall outside, soaking her as she left the hotel. She resolved to cut off all contact, unwilling to let her heart break again. Nathan panicked, called her name into the rain, but she was already gone. He realized this time he risked losing her forever. Are you still there? Do you think Anna is being too sensitive? Leave your thoughts in the comments to let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I look forward to seeing you in my next stories. Nathan rushed out of the hotel, his suit drenched in the pouring rain. He called Anna's name, but she had vanished into the crowded New York streets. His heart clenched, the fear of losing her again, driving him to act. He jumped into his car, ordering the driver to go, while calling his assistant, James, to search for Anna everywhere possible. He checked her apartment in Queens. Empty. He called Linda, but she said Anna's phone was off. Finally, a hunch led him to a small cafe in Brooklyn, the place they used to visit when they were in love. The cafe was unchanged with its old wooden tables and warm golden lights. Through the fog glass window, he saw Anna sitting in a corner, clutching a cup of tea, her eyes distant. Nathan pushed open the door, his heart pounding. She looked up, stunned to see him. "Nathan," she said, her voice hoarse, "what are you doing here?" He knelt before her, ignoring the stares of others around. "Anna, please listen. Victoria means nothing. She staged that scene for attention. I've never and will never have feelings for anyone but you." Anna shook her head, tears streaming down. "How can I trust you, Nathan?" "After everything." Nathan took her hand, his gaze unwavering. "Because I love you, Anna. I've loved you since the day we met, and I'll love you until my last breath. I know I hurt you, but I swear I'll never let that happen again." She looked at him, torn between pain and hesitation. "I love you too," she whispered, "but I need time, Nathan. I don't want to make another mistake." Nathan nodded, though his heart ached. "I'll wait, Anna. No matter how long, I'll wait." She stood and left the cafe, leaving Nathan kneeling there, resolved to win her back at all costs. A month had passed since that rainy night when Anna left Nathan in the small Brooklyn cafe. She had spent that time reflecting, trying to understand her heart. She moved to a small hotel in the New York suburbs, avoiding the Imperial Crown, and focused on remote work to complete prestige events' remaining projects. But no matter how hard she tried, Nathan's image, his resolute eyes, his hoarse voice as he knelt before her, lingered in her mind. Today, Anna returned to the Imperial Crown to finalize the last contract, a summary report on the international event series. Linda had emphasized that this was the final step to secure a long-term deal with Nathan's corporation, and Anna didn't want to let the company down. But as she stepped into the main lobby, her heart raced. Everything here, the scent of lilies, the warm golden light, the gentle piano music, reminded her of the days she worked with Nathan and the moments that stirred her emotions. She took a deep breath, telling herself to stay calm. Dressed in a navy office dress, her hair tied high, she aimed to appear professional. But when she approached the reception desk to ask about the meeting room, the young woman smiled and said, "Ms. Cooper, Mr. Carter requests you meet at the Anna Suite on the 45th floor to finalize the report." Anna froze. "Anna Suite? You mean the presidential suite?" The receptionist shook her head, her eyes twinkling as if guarding a secret. "No, ma'am. It's been renamed. Just go up there, and you'll understand." Anna frowned, an uneasy feeling rising. She entered the elevator, memories of being trapped with Nathan making her heart beat faster. When the elevator opened on the 45th floor, she approached the door now, bearing a gold plaque reading Anna Suite in elegant script. She swiped her key card, pushed the door open, and instantly her breath caught. The room was no longer the cold presidential suite she remembered. It had been redecorated with subtle touches that echoed her. White lilies, her favorite flower, adorned the table. An abstract painting hung on the wall, identical to one she'd painted during her days with Nathan, with strokes of blue and gold. Even the room's scent, a blend of lavender and sandalwood, matched the perfume she often wore. Anna touched the wooden table, her hand trembling. "What is this?" she murmured, both confused and moved. "Hello, Anna." Nathan's warm, deep voice startled her. She turned to see him standing at the door, dressed in a white dress shirt and black trousers, his deep blue eyes fixed on her, with unguarded sincerity. "Nathan," she said, her voice shaky, "this Anna Sweet? What did you do?" Nathan approached, his gaze never leaving her. "I spent the past month preparing this. I wanted you to see that you're not just a part of my past. You're my entire world." Anna shook her head, emotions surging. "You didn't have to do this. I'm just here to finish the report." "No, Anna," Nathan interrupted, his voice firm. "I did this because I want you to know I'm serious. I won't promise you the whole world, but I promise to give you my entire world to love and protect you." His words left her speechless. She looked around the room, noticing the small details only Nathan, the man who once loved her deeply, would know. She wanted to say something, to deny it, but her heart wouldn't let her. "I need time, Nathan," she whispered, her voice choked. "But thank you." Nathan nodded, his eyes gentle. "I'll wait, Anna, as long as it takes." She left the room, her heart pounding, knowing this time she couldn't keep running forever. Dear friend, we'd love to hear your feedback to improve our content further. What type of story would you like to see next? Are the narration style, story length, and content development suitable for you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below so we can serve you better. A week later, Anna returned to the Imperial Crown Hotel to sign the final contract with Nathan's corporation. She had reflected deeply in the days prior, and though fear lingered, she couldn't deny her heart had always belonged to Nathan. She wore a pearl-colored silk dress, her hair loose, and this time she made no effort to hide the sapphire necklace around her neck. She was directed to the Anna Suite, where she found not only Nathan but also Linda, a few colleagues from prestige events, and her closest friends. The room was decorated like a dream, with soft golden lights, white lilies everywhere, and a small band playing the waltz she and Nathan had danced to. Anna stood stunned as Nathan approached, his eyes blazing. "Nathan, what's happening?" she asked, her voice trembling. He smiled, took her hand, and led her to the center of the room. In front of everyone, Nathan knelt, pulling a velvet box from his pocket. Inside was their old wedding ring, the one she'd left behind when she walked away. "Anna," he said, his voice hoarse but resolute, "we failed once because I was foolish, because I didn't cherish you. But this time, I'll never let you go. I'm asking you, please give us a chance to start again. Be my wife once more." Tears streamed down Anna's cheeks. She looked at the ring, at Nathan's eyes, and recalled everything: the happy days, the pain, and the journey they'd taken to find each other again. Fear was still there, but her love for him was stronger. She nodded, her voice choked. "Yes, Nathan, I will." The room erupted in applause and cheers. Nathan slid the ring onto her finger, stood, and pulled her into a passionate kiss. Anna clung to him, feeling his warmth and heartbeat, knowing this was where she belonged. As the kiss ended, Nathan whispered in her ear, "Thank you for giving me a second chance." She smiled, tears still falling. "Don't make me regret it, Nathan Carter." He laughed, squeezing her hand. "Never." Their story closed as they walked hand in hand out of the hotel, New York's sunlight shining on them like a blessing. Ahead lay a new chapter, not perfect, but filled with love and hope. 5 years later, morning sunlight streamed through the windows of a suburban New York villa where Anna and Nathan had built their home. In the garden, their 4-year-old twins, Emma and Ethan, played joyfully, their laughter echoing. Emma, with Anna's brown hair, picked lilies, while Ethan, inheriting Nathan's blue eyes, chased a butterfly. Nathan, now a devoted father, sat on the porch, holding Anna from behind. He had learned to balance work and family, always reserving evenings for his wife and children, no longer the neglectful husband of the past. Anna smiled, leaning into his shoulder, feeling his familiar warmth. "Look at them," she whispered. "They're like you, mischievous but lovable." Nathan kissed her hair. "And they have your strong heart." The four gathered around the dinner table that evening, laughter and small stories filling the air. Under the warm golden light, Anna held Nathan's hand, knowing that after all the pain, they had found true happiness, a complete family.